Hey guys, Shane here for Fugatech 3D Printing, and you can hear I'm a little sick, didn't have a vlog last week, so we got a ton to catch up. Let's get to it. So hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Again, I've been under the weather lately, so I didn't do a vlog last week. Also, we didn't have any mail come in, so I really had no new content aside from some of the print reviews I've been working on and just working on the Delta printer. So we did get mail in this week, so let's dive in and see what came in. First up, we have the new and improved MakerBox. So MakerBox paired up with Rigid Ink, I believe it is, one of the filament companies on producing their box. So they outsourced that portion of it. It is still supposed to be the same quality product, still in the Ziploc bags with the label on them. So this is the November MakerBox. It's now December, obviously. Again, I haven't gotten mail at all in the past basically 3 weeks. Hardly anything came in, so we're just now getting into it. So here is that, and a review will be coming up in this very, very soon. Now I use Octopi I don't use it to control my FT5, I use it just to view the print. There's other ways to do it, but Octopi is just something that I want to start using. I don't necessarily want to print from it, because there actually was a video put out by Tech2C, I believe he goes by, on his YouTube channel, and he just did a comparison via USB and SD card printing. And SD card printing proved far superior, as there was less issues in each layer of the print at speed. So he got up to 75 millimeters per second on his little hypercube that he created, and then he saw issues at 75 millimeters a second. Well, he saw issues at, I believe, like 40 or 50 millimeters a second when printing via USB cable from Pronterface, or Pronterface, however you want to say it. So I mainly use that to view, but aside from all that, what I view it with, I'm using the Octopi camera, which is a horrible compare. I mean, they don't pair well at all. At least for me, they don't. Other people have had success with the Pi 3 and the Octopi camera, or I'm sure the Pi camera and the Octoprint together, the three of them. I have had nothing but issues. So I picked up this C920 Logitech camera. So this, a lot of people are using this one. I wanted 1080p video. Again, this is only for my local network because the way internet's locked down here, can't really view anything outside anyways, and work doesn't allow any of that stuff anyways. But this, I'm hoping to get some better video out of this, hoping to use maybe this for the time lapses on the FT5 rather than using my GoPro, which would free up my GoPro to use on the Delta once I get that printing, and or my G-Tech for those prints. So this is something I'm going to install soon, and I probably won't do a video about it, but I'll talk about it in one of the vlogs once I get it get it installed. So you can't see it, but I have here in front of me a ton of little bags. There's all kinds of stuff. So the first one here is from Philustruder, and I picked up some extra E3D gear, so an extra throat. Well, I mean, yeah, this is the throat, and then the heatsink for the throat. And I picked up a couple of these. These are the socks, silicone socks they're called. Now, I personally cannot get these to work. I think I'm just an idiot, I guess, because I see a lot of people using them, but they don't actually like clip on securely. So I'm really confused on how these are actually supposed to even stay on there, because I get basically my perimeter done on the print, and then all of a sudden it starts curling under, and then it just totally flops out, and the printer goes crazy because it doesn't know what it's doing. So I'm really disappointed with these. I mean, again, I probably have my nozzle down a little too far or something, but I have it up there almost all the way, about maybe one turn off. Maybe I need to do like that quarter turn or half turn off and then tighten the throat down. But I have to play with that. But right now, I'm not a fan of these. It's not working out well. I tried for 3 different prints. I tried readjusting it 3 times, which was half an evening, and it just seemed like a waste of time. So eventually, I'm gonna work on that. But also came with that with some PTFE tubing. So again, that's something that I want to work on. I would like it. Mainly, I want to use it in case a print fails. I want to keep the block clean. I had several failed prints with the volcano nozzle, and that block is basically black now because of all the melted filament on it, and etc. So I'd have to basically buy a new block if I want a clean look. But anyways, I'm hoping to get those socks working. If you have any tips for the socks, please let me know. I'd like to get these installed soon. More little bags. Well, this one's kind of a bigger bag, but it is full of the 602 ZZ or 6022 ZZ bearings. These are the 22 millimeters by 7 millimeter skateboard bearings. They're more affectionately known as. And these, I got these for fidgets. I want to print more fidgets. I also got these mainly just because there's a lot of prints out there that I want to do with different spool holders, and I picked up a bag of 100 for like $35, $30 I think, free shipping, made in the USA. So on eBay, it was a great purchase. I'll put a link down below where I got it from. You guys can check them out if you want some. Also here, some of my packages from AliExpress, I believe AliExpress, came in, and so these consist of, these ones are, these look like M5 T-nuts, and these are the M4 T-nuts, and we have here some, these are M4 lock, Nylock nuts. Then I have, which I don't know why, I guess I accidentally purchased them, but these were $5 maybe for a huge bag of corner brackets. So I have silver and I have black. Again, why I have both I do not know. I could have swore I only ordered one of them, but apparently I didn't. Anyways, I've got huge bags of these. They were cheap, so I figured why not. They have the little tabs here which lock them into so they won't slide back and forth into 2020. And these are 25 by 20 or 28 by 20. Where's my little measuring thing here? Yeah, so these are 28 by 28 by 20. So I was looking at 20 by 20 by 20s before, and people said that, hey, go for the 28s because they give you a little bit, they're a little bit longer, so they give you a little bit more rigidity in your corners. Now that I have these, I don't necessarily know I'm actually going to use these, because I have another thing I got here for trying to enclose the FT5. My original plan was to use plexiglass or something and mount it to the outside. So I would put these corner brackets inside, exposing the entire outside of the frame nice and flat, to just use some T-nuts and put on the enclosure that way. But with the new things I have here, I plan on using the actual channel of the 2020 extrusion to put this in. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use these or not, because it actually looks pretty badass with the corner brackets already there on, and the melamine is plenty strong enough. I don't care who tells you otherwise. You don't need to buy full aluminum set. You don't need to buy metal sets, anything like that. As long as you're careful with tightening those down, and you tighten them down just hand tight, they are plenty tight enough. So don't listen to the hype of spending all this money on an aluminum corner kit. Yeah, it'll look badass, but for me, weight is everything, and if I can get away with the melamine corners because they're lighter and they're just as rigid, why would I do that? And why spend another few $100s on the printer? I've already spent all the money on the printer and some of the upgrades I've done. It's just kind of ludicrous in my opinion. But these are just for if you wanted to attach the acrylic or something on the outside of the printer, and that way it's a nice flat surface. You don't have to worry about cutting out where the brackets are currently. So again, if I do this, that'll be another video sometime in the future. I've got like 2 things left here that came in. So I got in this little device right here. This is a DC to DC power converter. So in is 12 volts. So the supply is just showing these little blue connectors, and output is a standard USB connector, which is 5 volts. This is for my Raspberry Pi, and I wanted this because this will actually be, I'm going to mount this, probably mount it, I might print a little something to mount it to, or just let it sit, but this is going to go inside the hatch portion, they call it, of the FT5, which all the electronics are, and I will run my USB cable around and down into this, and this will hook up directly to the power supply. So when the printer is on, the Raspberry Pi will be on. When I turn the printer off, Raspberry Pi will be off, because I don't need to see a printer that's not online. It's just kind of a waste of energy there. But there are multiple ways you can use this. Again, you can do your, this actually takes in any type of voltage up to 18 or 24 volts, I think. I'd have to look. It doesn't come with any documentation except for this little card I bought on Amazon. Again, link will be down below. And I believe it takes up to 24 volts, I think is what it was, and as low as maybe 5 or 8 volts, and will output the 5 volts that you need. But you can hook them in with just these screw down terminals, and your output, you can actually either use the USB, or if you just have a cable, there's actually 2 points, a plus 5 volt and a ground terminal points right here that you can just solder your cable directly to if you wish. Again, it's all your prerogative, but I plan on using a USB cable since I have hundreds of them all over the place, and this will be a nice way just to kind of clean up the cabling on the Raspberry Pi. So hopefully I'll only have 2 cables going to, right now a Cat 5, which I'm trying to send it to wireless, but on the Cat 5 it's just so much faster connection in my brick house. And the going to be the camera, you know. So again, this will be a video probably on just adding this in and showing people how to do that. Some people aren't very comfortable with adding in even simple electronics like this. So I plan to do that in the future. So more on that later. Last thing I got off Amazon is black foam board. So here it is. It's huge. All right. This is 20 inches by 30 inches. This was $25 for 10 sheets. It's black on black, so it's a black foam in the middle and black on the outside. So I'm actually going to be using that to enclose the FT5. So this stuff is super lightweight. It's very durable, and it should handle the heat without problem. Again, because it's not going to have direct contact. It's just basically keeping the air inside the printer enclosure. This was the lightest way that I could see to do this. I saw one other person do this. They talked about doing it. They might have posted a picture in their Fugatech group, but I can't really remember now. It was a while back. I said, that's a good idea. Let me see if I can find a good price. But the best price I could find was $25 for 10 sheets, so $2.50 a sheet. You only need, I think I used 3 or 4 sheets to enclose almost, to enclose 3 or 4 sides of this. So you don't really need that much, maybe half of the box for 5 sheets to do the entire thing. But on the front here, I haven't decided what I'm going to do simply because I want to be able to see in the printer. So I might actually cut a window into the front panel that I create for it and just use, I don't know, some, not aluminum foil, what's that called? The clear stuff. And saran wrap, that's it, saran wrap. Saran wrap can take heat, so that should be okay. And it will hold in enough heat, I think, because it'll be lower. But again, I'm not really sure how I want to do that. Or I still have a very slim sheet of plexiglass. I think maybe 1/8 inch or 16 that's just super duper thin. And I could just cut a nice little window slit into there just so I could see into it. But again, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that. But I do have a video. I asked people in the Fugatech group. I got an overwhelming yes. You guys wanted to see that video. So that is going to be one of the next videos I produce here. I'm going to take a break from the filament reviews. I have one that's already printed, ready to go. But we're going to take a break from doing the filament reviews for a little bit. I'm going to do some work on the FT5, show you guys about that. I just finished up some Christmas prints. I have a Christmas special coming up. I didn't print as many things as I wanted to, just because other things got in the way. I got sick, I hurt my back, so I had to take a break from a lot of things there for a while. But I am going to have some things to show you in the Christmas special that I produce. And if you follow me on social media, you already have a clue on what some of those prints are, and you will have enough time to print some of these if you want to give them for gifts or if you want to display them in your own home. So more on that very, very soon, I promise you that. Alright, it's not metals taken care of. I apologize again. This is the first video I've done in 2 weeks, so this one's going to be a little bit longer. I have quite a bit of content I want to kind of cover here. So let's again dive into it some more. We're going to talk about, I have some 25-25 aluminum extrusion, so it's 25 millimeter by 25 millimeter T-slot aluminum extrusion that I I acquired it some time ago. I don't remember why I even had it. I was doing some Bitcoin mining. I figured I would try that out. Found some online for super cheap, picked it up, and built a little Bitcoin miner. So it open air, suspended I had 270 toxics, triple X toxic cards and Radeons that I was playing with. But anyways, so I had that left over. I was like, you know what? I really want to get a PC for this. So up top here, was right here, I did have that test bench looking thing. Actually, it's cracked, and I didn't notice that until I brought it down to get it working again. But there are 2 points on actually a crack. So you know what? I was like, you know what? This clearly cannot survive all the moves I do. It's time to get rid of it and do something a little more sturdy. 25-25 extrusion is hopefully going to be wall mounted, and I'm thinking you won't be able to see it, but over here above the FT5 is where I'm thinking about doing it. I was debating doing it over here, but there's just kind of a lot going on there. In the way I would have to route the cables, it would get in front of a lot of things, and I'm not a fan of that. So then I'm going to put it over there. Oh, there's that cough. I got it. It's bad. Got a chest cold. Anyways, I think I'm going to put it over there. And so in order to make this happen, when I did it before, I kind of just had cut some aluminum. I have some big aluminum sheet that I cut down just to make little brackets before I do anything with 3D printing. But I was like, you know what, now that I have a 3D printer, why not make this thing actually look decent? So I started modeling up some parts, and I'll show you some here real quick. I created this little piece, so it has 3 mounts, and this was for a power switch. This is actually my good one that came out. But I decided that, you know what, it's a power switch. Why are you using all this plastic, Shane? Like, they don't need 3, you know, anchor points for a power switch. That's ludicrous. So I ended up cutting it down and I rounded it out. Again, I'm actually gonna do a whole video just on this build, just to kind of show you other ways to use 3D printing in your everyday life of things you do. So again, so it's only ends up only being, so it's 1 point right in the middle. I have the hole here for the power switch, and it looks fantastic. This is using Toner Plastics Rich Teal PLA that I'm currently reviewing, and the videos I'm probably gonna do it after this. But yeah, it came out great. All the parts came out good. Another one here, this one is bad. My hole is actually too small. And then I created a few. This is actually a hard drive. So here's actually the final one. So this is a standard 3.5-inch hard drive. This one's 250 gigs, I think. Again, this is just something I have here for editing. Not even editing, just kind of my general browsing. What I have the laptop for now, I kind of want to move out of the way, because I'm trying to free up more of my desk space. Because the more printers I get, the less desk space I have, and I'm trying to work on several at one time. So but anyway, so the hole is down here. Let me do background quick. So I found a 3.5 to 2.5 drive conversion on Thingiverse. So I cut off the one side, and then I just kind of expanded the hole in the middle to reduce the use of plastic, because nothing needs to be in the middle. It's super rigid anyways. Don't need to worry about that. I resized the holes for a 3.5-inch drive, and I elongated this bottom part because it was very, very short. It's very, very low profile. I made this all the way the width, so this is now 25 millimeters wide, and I put 2 holes right in the middle for an M5. So once you take this off, you can mount it to the aluminum extrusion with 2 M5 bolts with T-nuts. Attach the hard drive back to it, and you're connected. I also created the same thing here for my little SSD. This is a 128 gig Crucial SSD. So this is my main OS that I use that for, and all my apps are installed on here. This is just for storage. But this was actually the first one that I used their model for. Again, sliced off the side, expanded this to 25 millimeters, moved the hole to the middle, made it bigger, and also made this hole. My final version actually has this hole go down a little bit further to, again, reduce the use of plastic. And I will publish all these on Thingiverse eventually, in case someone out there happens to make the exact same type of thing. This will work on 2020 extrusion. If you want so, you'll have a little bit of hangover. You have 2.5 millimeters on either side hangover. But again, you can scale it down. I'll include the SketchUp files. I'll upload those later and give you links at a later point. But this is just some of the things that I was working on. And I'm also currently working on, which my prototype is actually down here on it, is the PSU bracket to actually hold that in. So that needs to be a little bit bigger and a little more sturdy, and it's 5 millimeter thick in order to give it a nice rigid, because again, power supplies are heavy, and I believe it is a 650 or 750 watt Roswell PSU I have on that one, and it has some weight to it, so I want to be able to get that to be able to hold the weight, especially if it's suspended on the wall. I don't want it to fall down. But I plan on doing a video just on developing these items, how I designed them, what to use them for, how to print them, and the final product. That'll actually be like a build log type deal as I go through the process. But I plan on filming that maybe by the end of the year, but it might be the new year before I get around to just actually starting it. Alright, so an update on the DForce Mini. I have not filmed the last part of the build log yet because I still have yet to receive the new MKS board. Oh, this is killing me. I was really hoping to get the package this week, but I clearly didn't. Hopefully next week. I mean, this is kind of a old hat now of waiting and waiting and waiting for these parts to get here from China, along with my stupid slow mail. So I've been testing it more, trying to get it. Homing at Delta is hard. People weren't kidding about it. It's tough work. So I was able to print out this little reindeer guy. It's a bit stringy, but it came out not half bad. I mean, the bottom here was nice and tight with the layers. As it got up to the top of the one side, it spread out a bit more. I did have a bit of lifting there, but it completed the print. I was like, okay, well, one good print one decent print, I'll call it, deserves another. Nope, this one came out horribly. I mean, the top layer didn't even finish. It's super rough. It's almost sandpaper, but it didn't extrude very well at all. So I'm not really sure what happened with this one. This is like literally a 14-minute print. It's super quick because it's 4 layers. It's really not that big. But yeah, it came out horribly, and I mean you can see holes through it. You can't tell from the video, but I mean it came out really bad. So I'm back to the drawing board on how to re-level that bed. I cannot seem to get it perfect again. Every time I rehome each of the arms, I seem to be further away from my build plate. So I change the smooth rod distance to make it longer, to try to lower that again. And I'm running out of end stop space. I'm redesigning the, what do they call it? The effector, which is what the extruder is connected to. Not the extruder, the nozzle is connected. It's a Bowden style, so extruder is connected to the frame. I'm redesigning the effector in order to be able to lower the nozzle more in the effector and clamp it down. That way I have a fan setup that I'm looking to use, which I have yet to have a successful print with because I've had issues with the G-Tech over the past 2 weeks. But anyways, I'm looking to lower that down to add this nozzle, which will be able to cool the throat and the print at the same time and get decent prints out of it. I don't know why these prints came out so bad. I have a perfect now 40 by 40 by 40 millimeter cube when I have it homed properly. But again, I tried making some changes to the Marlin, totally screwed it up, shouldn't have made a change, but now I can't get the damn thing level again. So back to the drawing board, probably going to put it aside for a while because I wasted several nights these past few weeks working on it and it's getting frustrating. I don't know if it's the printer or if it's just, again, me learning how to use the Delta printers. If anybody has any guides, I did find a great guide. I'll link it below. It actually is fantastic. It speaks plain English. It actually spells out what each of these measurements are and how they're used. It's a great document. And the guy that made it, I think it's a Blogspot blog of his that he updated and he doesn't post it anymore. But it's a great set of instructions. It made me get to where I was, and then I jacked with it. So, you know, that's life. Probably going to put it aside again for a little while. Maybe at least wait for the MKS board to come in, and we'll try again later. But a little bit update on that. So I told you I'm going to be doing the video on enclosing the FT5. I am now finally going to film how to install the silicon pad with the Trigorilla MOSFET. Again, this is the one that I personally recommend. There's lots out there. I just recommend this one because it's nice, got a nice big heatsink on it. You can easily install a 12 volt 40 millimeter fan right on the top of this. I actually need to bring it up one more level to get the thing to fit. I'll show you that. But this is a great little connector piece of hardware to use, and to do that I just recently found on Thingiverse, somebody posted in the Fugatech group, they created a little case for it, which is pretty shiny for all you Firefly fans out there. And it goes on right like that. Again, it doesn't line up just because I have the fan too far there, but this fully encases it. It gives it plenty of space for airflow out the side. You have a connector on this side, and then everything's blocked off except for this. This is actually a super safe way to use this piece of equipment. So, because you do have some connectors here that are exposed, if a wire was to become exposed and rub against it, you could get a short, you could have a fire. But encasing this with a plastic protective case is ingenious. I can't believe no one has figured it out before to do that. This is not really my forte, so finding someone else that did it, I'm very happy about that, and I'm happy to push his content out there. So I'll put a link to this down below. If you did buy this, I highly recommend you print this out in order to enclose this and make this even safer to use. So this definitely will be a video that I film, if not tonight, this week. I have to get the FT5 here onto my table, move the camera around, get a nice wide angle on that, and we're going to do this very soon. But this is a great print. Again, link will be down below for you to check it out. So for those of you with printers, I don't know if you're married or if a girlfriend or boyfriend if you're a female, or husband if you're female. If you do 3D printing, there are a ton of things out there that you can print, and we generally like to print things for our significant other. For my case, it's my wife. I like to show her that 3D printing is relevant so that she doesn't make me stop, and the cool little things I can find. So I found this on Thingiverse. This is a little earring hanger. She's been telling me for a long time, she's like, I need somewhere to put my earrings. So I printed this out, a little butterfly thing. It's a little young, but it's a cute little print. It actually was rather hard to print on the FT5 just because it is actually very intricate, it's very intricate because of all the swoops and all of the little holes that it has to put down. This is 2 perimeters, 20% infill, 2 top, 2 bottom layers, and the bottom is 3 bottom, 4 top, 20% infill, honeycomb style. And all you do is you just, once you can snap this in, and it's pretty snug. I threw a little bit of super glue in there just to make sure it didn't come apart. But it came out as a rather nice print. So she has this to put her earrings on now. And she's happy with it. And she said when she's done with it, give it to my daughter. So happy day. Works out for everybody. Another thing with my wife is that now that she knows that I can 3D print stuff, she's like, hey, I wonder if you could find this. So we have a birthday party coming up this weekend for one of my daughter's friends and one of my coworkers, one of his daughters, and they are having a Paw Patrol birthday party. So she was like, hey, I know you made a cookie cutter before. Can you make some for Paw Patrol? I was like, well, I can't design that because I suck, but I probably could find some on Thingiverse. So I talked to some people in a 3D printing group, and lo and behold, I did find several of them. Actually, I found them all. But so here's several of them. Whoops. So here's several of them here. We've got Zuma, Chase, Everest, and Sky. And these are printed again in toner plastics, rich teal PLA, which I was currently reviewing. They came out fantastic. There is some separation in layers here though, so it's actually a setting. I actually need to down my nozzle size, not size, I guess the, it's auto set. I don't know if it's size, I forget the setting off the top of my head right now, but for a 0.4 nozzle, it's set to 0.48. If you do that manual and you turn that down to 0.41, you can make these walls small enough that you can go ahead and then have infill in between the 2 walls, and it fills in to make it a solid. So sorry, my camera stopped recording there for a second. So pretty much where I think I was is when you lower your nozzle size, you can then actually get infill to go in between here, and then you can have a one solid layer so that you're not getting anything stuck up in here. The way these are currently printed, you can only use these once, and then you're gonna have too much gunk in there to get out. And if you put it in a dishwasher, it's just gonna, basically crumble up because it's won't sustain the heat. So these will be one-time use and throw them away. But I'm gonna link my collection actually of all of these down below. I did actually redo several of these simply because the way the model was, it was oriented incorrectly. It was far too small, and they all need to be fixed because the original one, which actually I'll put a picture here if I still have it, otherwise I apologize. This bar was not solid. It like went to the model and it was kind of cut off, and then it started again, then it cut off at the end, and I don't know why, but it was very easy fix throwing it through NetFab. So I re-uploaded the model under a new one. I remixed each of his, the Maker, and they came out great. So this is them. If you have a little one with Paw Patrol party, the link's below. Check them out. Give them some awesome cookies. So I'm sorry if this was a little bit of a longer video again. I had a lot to share. Again, last week was pretty much non-productive for me. I did do prints. Whoops. I did have prints going, but aside from that, I definitely was not anywhere shape or any shape to record. So here we are today. So I thank you guys for hanging in there. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe, you can hit the link down below. If you want to be notified, there's a little bell. You can hit that. You get an email anytime I upload a video. If you want to support me, you can do that many ways. The first way is via Patreon. Donate me $1 or more. I greatly appreciate it. To all you Patreons already, thank you very much for your support. I have an Amazon link and a MakerGeeks link down below for affiliates, so you can use those links to do your everyday shopping. Christmas season is upon us, so I appreciate everyone who's already been using that link. All the proceeds will go here to the channel to help out, which I didn't actually tell you. I did make a little bit from the Amazon using the affiliate links, which actually was able to purchase the black board. This foam board was purchased with that money, so I appreciate you guys doing that for me. Thank you very much. And another thing, a lot of people don't really know this, you can follow me on many ways. So I have Facebook and Instagram, which I try to upload, if not daily, every few days. I try to put new content out there, what I'm working on, different prints I do. When I finish prints like this awesome dragon, I print that out, let you know the filament I'm using if you're curious on the look or if you have any questions. So those links are going to be down below for you to go ahead and follow me there. You can follow me personally. If I don't accept a friend request, that's fine. I'm sorry, but I can't be friends with everyone. You're more than welcome to follow my personal page, which will be down below. You can follow Fugatech 3D Printing on Facebook, and you can follow me, which I'm Fuganator, on Instagram. So feel free to follow me any of those ways to see what's going on here in my 3D printing world. So until next time, guys, happy printing.